This video is for all those times when the bank account is looking slim and you just need to make it to payday. These meals are absolutely delicious, pantry friendly, and will get you through with a really small budget. And many times you can even cook with just what you have on hand. No store required. This one is a Spanish style rice and beans, and it is super pantry friendly. We're just gonna start with 1 onion minced and a couple cloves of garlic also minced. I guess the onion's technically chopped. Don't worry if you don't have fresh, you can always use dried. And the same thing with some parsley. I have about 3 tablespoons. In a large skillet over medium heat, I'm just gonna add in a little bit of oil. I'm using olive oil, but you can use whatever olive oil or whatever oil you have. This is all about budget. This is all about saving money. So we're just gonna use what we have on hand. That's the easiest thing to cook with and the easiest way to make it to payday. So once your oil is heated, you wanna add in your onion. Like I said, if you're not using fresh onion, that's gonna be just fine. We'll just add in our spices. Now I drained and rinsed 2 cans of kidney beans, but when you're trying to make it to payday, it doesn't matter what type of bean you have. So I think black beans would be really good in this too. And especially if you have a bag of dried black beans, if you cook these up, I have an entire video that has 25 rice and beans recipes down in the description box, so if you want to check that out, go for it. But it has some great recipes on how to cook up black beans and kind of really utilize them, so you can get 2 or 3 days of meals out of a bag like this. And it's this usually right around $1.25 at the Dollar Tree. Okay, my onions are looking cooked down, so we're gonna add in, I have fresh garlic, but like I said, if you need to use garlic powder, use about a teaspoon and a half. And then for spices, you want about a teaspoon and a half of paprika, 1 and a quarter teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, and a half a teaspoon of black pepper. I really feel like the budget heroes are always the spices. So if you don't have a robust spice cabinet, I recommend just buying a pretty cheap, I'll put one down in the description box, thing of spices from Amazon, so you have all the basics. If you don't want to do that, sometimes it's just good that every week you spend $1 or $2, especially if you go to like Aldi or Walmart. The spices tend to be pretty inexpensive. Spend $1 or $2 out of your budget to buy another spice that you don't have, and really make that spice cabinet robust, because that will help you make a little go a long way. You just want to cook this for a couple minutes until it's aromatic. So you really just want to toast those spices. It will bring out the flavors. And then you want to add in 2 cups of long green rice. I'm just using regular white rice, but you could use basmati as well, whatever you have on hand. You just want to toast this rice up until translucent. If you are using like a wheat rice or a brown rice, it's going to take a lot longer to cook. So just know that. You might want to like double the cooking time. But you could definitely do it with brown rice. It's just going to take longer. It's all about using what you have on hand. And we're going to add in our kidney beans, 1 can of fire roasted diced tomatoes. I always try and buy the fire roasted diced tomatoes when they are on sale, because I really love the flavor that they bring, and they're usually maybe a little bit more expensive than a regular diced tomato. But that's a great thing to stock up on, so you kind of always have it in your cabinet. Like I said, to make it to payday, be pretty inexpensive. But if you don't have fire roasted, you can always use regular. I've done it before and it doesn't really hurt the recipe. And then you need 3 cups of chicken broth. I always try and make my own, so I actually defrosted some from the freezer. When I have like a rotisserie chicken, or I'm making a whole chicken, or I'm making something where I'm shredding the chicken off the bone, it's a great idea to try and make your own stock from that, because you're getting a 2 for 1, you're not wasting. If you don't have chicken broth on hand, you can use chicken bouillon, which is also very, very inexpensive and a great thing to keep on hand for occasions like this. And that comes in, like, you can buy the little packages at Walmart for like $1.25. And if you don't have that, you can just use butter and salt, and that will be okay too. So once it comes to a boil, you just want to cover it, and we're going to cook it for 25 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna make a parsley oil now, and this is totally optional. You don't have to do this, but I think it's really gonna add something, and I have oil, right? If you don't have oil, then don't do it. I have some lemon left over with a slice here, so if you have lemon, or even if you have like the lemon juice containers, like I always try and keep those on hand just so I have something extra. And then I have about 3 tablespoons of parsley chopped, but if you want to use dried, you could use that too. So I'm gonna put my parsley right in here. We're gonna do about 1/2 teaspoon of lemon zest. So nothing too crazy. We have a lot more than that. We'll try not to get any seeds in here. And about 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. And this is just gonna be for a drizzle over the top of the rice once it's done. Like I said, totally optional and extra, but if you have the stuff, why not make it fancy, especially when you felt like you had nothing. And then you'll notice off to the side here, I've got some chopped up, these are actually really green olives, and I had bought these at Trader Joe's a while back. Oh, Ben's knocking stuff over, good. I thought they were like pitted olives, so I went to slice them and I realized they had pits in them, so they don't look fancy, but if you have green olives, you can slice those up and put those over the top too. They're gonna give a little something extra. So after your 25 minutes are up, everything should be really well cooked. I just sprinkled mine with those green olives and then that parsley mixture, and it's so beautiful, so delicious, and so pantry friendly. And after trying this, this is definitely one of those meals that has made it to my list of pantry friendly favorites, and I know it will for you too. We're gonna be making some chicken taquito casserole, or you can use any type of taquitos. So I'm using chicken because that's what we like, but I got them at Walmart for under $5, and you're gonna make a ton of food with this. I'm just using 1 serving of white rice. You can use as much as you like. Make a bunch for your family, but this is great because you're using those $5 taquitos. There's 16 in a package, so you're gonna get tons. And then to our white rice, we're just gonna add in 1 drained can of black beans, a drained can of corn, 1 can of cheddar cheese soup, a packet of taco seasoning, and then a little bit of salsa if you like. You could also add in some enchilada sauce if you want to do that instead of the cheese soup, but we're just gonna do cheese soup and taco seasoning and a little bit of salsa. And then you wanna play that inside of your casserole dish and top it with the taquitos. And we're gonna bake this at 375 degrees for about 35 minutes, and that should cook up your whole taquitos and everything. It's gonna be nice and warm, and then we're just gonna cover that with cheese, and you can use whatever toppings you like. So we're gonna put it back in the oven for 5-10 minutes until that cheese is melty and bubbly. Then I'm gonna top mine with scallions and some diced tomatoes. You can use like a pico de gallo, you can use like whatever salsa that you like. We're gonna serve ours with sour cream, you can do guacamole, hot sauce, anything. The options are endless. And this one is so good. It's gonna stretch so far for so little money. These are absolutely divine. You would never know that you used just like the cheap frozen Walmart taquitos with this.
I give it a 5 out of 5.
Love it.
Uh-huh.
So good. This one is scallion soy sauce eggs. I saw this on TikTok and I had to try it. I love doing like a fried egg over rice. It's super budget friendly, especially because eggs have gotten cheaper. Thank goodness. They are back down in the budget category. I'm just starting with, I had like some seasoned oil, but you can use just like canola oil or olive oil in the bottom of a pan or a wok. You want it at really high heat because we're gonna cook these eggs super fast. And then I have about 1 scallion sliced. I just put those over the top of the eggs and then also drizzled some soy sauce on there. Now the original recipe had me putting the scallions at the bottom, and I did that for my husband's. I wouldn't recommend that because it kind of like burned the scallions, and I didn't want to show you guys that because it was not the superior method. The superior method was putting the scallions on top. Then you want to just cover that up and let that cook for a couple minutes until those eggs are basically like steamed and cooked all the way through. They're going to be crispy at the bottom, and it's not the most beautiful thing in the world, but it has so much flavor because that soy sauce is actually cooked into the eggs. You can see my husband's like brown and crispy, and then it depends on how you like it. I personally love the yolk of an egg with rice. It just tastes so delicious. But if that's not for you, you can always do it like scrambled up. So even just with the soy sauce and the scallions and scrambled up eggs, that would still be delicious and super, super budget friendly. Like I always have eggs on hand. So this is a really easy, fast dinner to get on the table for next to nothing. For more super fast and cheap meals, go ahead and click on this next video and make sure the next time you're on YouTube, you're watching Meals with Maria.